The year is 1969, a small town called Ludlow with a population of less than 1,000 people. A boy named Judd is not ready to go to Vietnam and kill, so he and his girlfriend Norma are going to leave Ludlow and join the Peace Corps as volunteers. His childhood friend Timmy, on the contrary, served and even came back from Vietnam a hero, but under pressure of experience commits suicide. His father, unable to let his son go, buries Timmy in an ancient Indian cemetery hidden in the woods, which brings people back from the other side. Albeit not in the same way as before. Stephen King is known to consider Pet Sematary one of his scariest novels, and it's hard to disagree. We all know how hard it is to let go of loved ones, how much you can give for another chance to hug them, tell them something you didn't get to say while they were alive, and in Pet Sematary King gives his characters this chance. But the return from the other world not only doesn't bring peace, but hits even harder, because under the appearance of a loved one hides a cold and deadly evil. The novel, released in 1983, was first made into movie in 1989, and the screenplay was written by King himself. Critics took the movie ambiguously, but the audience sincerely loved it. Pet Sematary, directed by Mary Lambert, is still in the top 10 of the highest-grossing movies based on King's books. Such success could not go without a sequel, but postmodernist black comedy sequel, made in 1992, which King had nothing to do with, was a mixed bag and failed at the box office. But the 2019 reimagining of King's novel came out surprisingly good. It was swift, atmospheric and brutal, so Paramount, which owns the rights to the brand, decided to think about another sequel. Blood Ties, although, is not a sequel, but a prequel, taking us back nearly half a century to the youth days of Judd Crandall, one of the characters from the original novel, played in the 2019 version by John Lithgow. The fact that a studio released a movie directly online, bypassing theatrical distribution, is usually a very bad sign, but the first few minutes of Blood Ties offer something to hope for. The authors return to a very difficult for America period of the Vietnam War and put in the center of the story 3 childhood friends. One has been to war, the second does everything to avoid it, and the third, an Indian, does not understand where his place in this country and where his life should go. But, unfortunately, this is where all the creative search of the creators of Blood Ties ends. Instead of somehow examining any of these themes and trying to reflect on their roots, their path, and their connections with the people around them, the authors at the first opportunity switched to purely genre rails of conventional B-horror about obsession and zombies. The young actors are bleak and unimpressive. Veterans David Duchovny, Pam Grier, and Samantha Mathis give out the message that they are only here for the fee, and the only one who is more or less immersed is Henry Thomas as the main character's father, but he can't patch the holes in the superficial and functional script. Both versions of King's Pet Sematary worked well largely because of the audience's connection to the characters, their problems, their fears, their pain. In Blood Ties, unfortunately, there's no one to connect to, and because of that, the suspense doesn't build. The characters are not introduced enough before they are already in danger, but the tension mostly goes into the sand. We must give the authors credit, they didn't shy away from blood and graphic naturalism, but you can't get far on brutality alone. Any horror is, first of all, a scary story, and in Blood Ties you are afraid only for your wasted time.